Welcome to Agrifood Conversations, brought to you by iSelect, the Van Trump Report, the Yield Lab Institute, and Family Farms Group. My name is Luke Wazenchuk, an analyst on the iSelect team. I'm excited to welcome you all to today's call. On today's Agrifood Conversations call, we are joined by Amanda Freund, Marketing Director of CowPots. CowPots uses composted cow manure to create 100% biodegradable, renewable, and recyclable plant pots for both home and commercial use. As an alternative to plastic pots, CowPots quickly decomposes once planted, enriching the soil and breaking down completely in just one growing season. And as an all-natural product made from 100% recycled materials, they don't contribute to landfill and waste, and are made using zero waste stream manufacturing. Each of you knows companies are more likely to succeed with the right network of customers, talent, investors, and advisors. We've invited you to this call because you are some of the smartest, most talented people in the CowPots market. You are potential customers for CowPots products and services. You built and sold a company like CowPots, or you are a sophisticated business person who understands CowPots market and the challenges it may face. Before we get started, we have a quick poll question to get a better idea of who we have on the line today. Please take a few seconds to answer. A few process comments. We are not soliciting investment. This presentation is to provide information about CowPots products and services to help them find customers, mentors, and other strategic relationships that can help them grow their business. You are all on mute. You can use the chat window to ask a question. After the formal part of the presentation, we will answer as many questions as time allows. This presentation is being recorded and will be available for replay. So without further delay, I'm pleased to introduce Amanda Freund, Marketing Director of CowPots. Take it away, Amanda.
Thank you so much, Luke. So I'm going to do a quick little pass through of these initial slides. So that was a great roll into my presentation to give a little background on what exactly a CowPot is. So we're a family dairy farm here in Connecticut, and this was a picture taken this past spring. You can see it was a wet spring. We've got some wet holes there in that field that hasn't gotten corn planted on it yet, but right there in front of you is our 300 cow freestall dairy barn. With solar panels on the roof, which generates the electricity to run both our dairy business and our CowPot production facility. We have 5 robotic milking units that milk our cows. And so just to the left of that long building is a green warehouse-looking building, and that's where we manufacture the CowPots. So the raw material, being our cow's manure, travels a very short distance from the barn to our CowPots facility. So this is my farm family. First and foremost, we are second, third, and we've got the 4th generation featured in this picture here. And we've been farming here since 1949. And this is the mission statement for our family's operation: to run a profitable dairy, open to the possibility of diversification, operating in an ecologically aware environment, practicing proper animal handling, and having respect for our neighbors and community. So anything that we do on our farm or any offshoot that is a farm-related business like CowPots, our hope and intent is that it's going to follow suit with this mission. So a little bit about me and these businesses. I'm 3rd generation here, and we actually manage 3 unique farm businesses. So the dairy farm, which has been in operation since 1949, and we're members of the Cabot Cooperative. So our milk gets picked up each day and goes to the West Springfield, Massachusetts plant, where they make it into butter and dried products. My mother, when she came and joined the business, she discovered that milking cows while having 2 babies was a handful. And so she actually started to expand on the roadside bushel of corn and has evolved it into this 2-story post and beam farm market, bakery, garden center, and catering business. And then we have the 3rd farm business, which is we officially started marketing our product in 2006, and we became an independent LLC in 2014, making a biodegradable pot from our cows' composted manure. which my mother is able to use in her garden center. So there's this awesome synergy of these three businesses working together. I often start out a presentation or a farm tour asking my visitors and guests how much manure they think one mature dairy cow makes in a day. And usually the guess is far less than what it really ends up being, which is 100 pounds. So on average, we're collecting about 100 pounds of manure and urine from our cows each day. And with 300 milking cows and 365 days in a year, that adds up. And I shared this image because we're looking at an aerial view of just within a mile and a half, we have a 400 cow dairy, a 300 cow dairy, and a 1,400 cow dairy. And so 25 years ago, the livestock farmers in our valley formed the Canaan Valley Agricultural Cooperative strictly to talk about and discuss ways to better manage our nutrients, the manure produced by our cows. So every year we meet with the NRCS, FSA, the Department of Ag from our state, Yukon Extension, other members of the state house, so our state representative and state senator. So we get all the players in the room, whether they be government official or service provider or even a regulator, along with the farmers, just to talk about how can we better manage the manure on our farms. And this has actually led to some real innovation. One of those innovations being our CowPots. So our intent with this product was initially to add value to a dairy byproduct. So our cows are here and we're in business because we want to make milk, but for just about every pound of milk that our cows give us, they give us an equal amount of manure. And we need to handle and manage that responsibly. We have a finite land base, and we have specific times in the year when we can and cannot apply those nutrients to the field. So we needed to get creative on how we handle that product. And this might not have been evident in the beginning because we didn't even know if there would be a market for a CowPot. But what we've learned in the past 15 years is that we have a truly green alternative to offer the horticulture industry. So when we first started in the early 2000s, this is what our production equipment looked like. That's my dad there in the picture who invented this product. And he prototyped the equipment that he would need to be able to make these forms. And you can see we did some research and developments with some 5-gallon buckets and trying different types of manure solids. And over the past decade, we've scaled up and we have gotten to a position where we could justify building an independent facility here on the farm. We've invested in some robotics to help us make it a more efficient system and to be able to increase our production to meet demand. So I want to touch on the 3 primary benefits to growing in CowPots. The first and most critical, obviously, if you're going to sell a plantable pot to the green industry, is that it needs to benefit the plants. And so I feature here an example of how incredible the root penetration is through our product, and the fact that unlike plastic and some of the other biodegradable pots, our pot offers really incredible root penetration. And so you never end up with a root-bound plant, and you get some really great air pruning. When it comes time to transplant, you don't tear or crush or score the sides of that pot, so you're not disturbing the root base, which reduces transplant shock. And you're actually amending your soil. You're putting an organic material into the soil when you plant, which enriches the environment that your plant has to grow, and it breaks down in one growing season. So this is a graph from a study that was done by the Mississippi Agricultural and Forestry Experiment Station that showed that at the end of the growing season, only 12% of the CowPot remained intact. And you can see how that compares to 3 other competing biodegradable products, which were well over 80% intact. So our product really does break down in a growing season. And you see at the bottom, I've listed some of the awards and recognition that we've gotten over the years. Another important benefit to using CowPots is the environment. It's Climate Week this week, and there's a lot of attention on what we as people, communities, policymakers need to be doing to be more mindful and thoughtful of our use of fossil fuels and even plastics, which is made from fossil fuel. So we're actually offering a truly plastic-free alternative, as well as peat-free. It takes about 100 years for a peat bog to regenerate. As I mentioned earlier, our cows are providing us the raw material to make this product every single day. It's 100% renewable. And I say that it's recycled because before we make the cow pots from our cows' composted manure, we actually have the longest continuously operating methane digester in the country. So we're actually generating biogas and heating our farmhouse and hot water with our cow's manure before we then turn it into making a cow pot. It's 100% biodegradable. There's no waste. There's nothing to throw away behind you, which I make a point of showing this picture on the right here. After transplanting cut flowers, it's not unusual for a grower to look behind them and see a whole bunch of plastic waste to pick up. Our facility is zero waste stream, so the only thing that leaves is steam when our pots are drying in an oven and finished product that's ready for sale. And as was mentioned, we are using renewable energy here on this farm for our production, using both solar power and methane gas. And on the bottom right picture here is an example of what a cow pot looks like at the end of a growing season, which I had to draw an outline to make you aware of where that pot was, because it has in fact broken down. In 2015, we received a sustainability award from the Innovation Center for U.S. Dairy for our nutrient management. And lastly, I like to point out the significance of the benefits of growing in cow pots to people. We are American-made. This product was invented and continues to be manufactured on our family's dairy farm in Connecticut. There is a true labor savings to using cow pots, especially when you are growing at scale. Being able to just drop the pots into either soilless bag culture, like is pictured here, or out into the field. There's no plastic material to pick up behind you to throw away. And I shared a little testimonial here at the bottom from an older grower that appreciated how simple and easy it was to use our pots, and for her, given her arthritic hands. We've been really fortunate to capture some awesome exposure on a national and international level. So in 2006, we hosted Mike Rowe to film an episode of the Dirty Jobs show, which aired in January 2007. And following that, Mike invited Matt, my dad, to join him on an interview with Larry King Live that year. We've been seen on the Today Show and Martha Stewart. The New York Times came out and did a nice story on us back in 2009. And then this is representing some of the different engagement we've had internationally. So we've participated in trade shows in Canada and Germany. We have a distributor that helps us cover Canada. We've maintained a health certificate to be able to ship our product into the European Union. And there's currently ongoing trials using our product in the UK. Over the past 13 years, we've put a lot of time and effort into refining our brand and our logo. So this was what our product originally looked like when we were presenting it to the market in 2006. We made some improvements and built some infrastructure in-house to be able to wrap our product. And then today, this is what we're offering the retail sector, is a chipboard label around 4 different styles of our product, with this cow cartoon that hopefully engages customers as they're walking by to know what our product is made from. We've also built up our ability to manufacture different styles. So we started with a 3 and 4 inch square product, and now we're making 13 different styles, hopefully to match different growing needs. On the right-hand side, I've exhibited some of the different prototype products that we've made by request. There's a shell holding bulbs. There's a tray for wheatgrass and microgreen production. The bottom picture there is for seed starting, as well as an all-in-one garden product that we made with the company Bloommaker. So there's obvious application for the small-scale grower, in the classroom, a church group that's doing a community garden, where our product is able to be set up in this is a cooperative market or even in a hardware store. But there also is real application for our product at the commercial level. So this is a grower that we work with out of New York that sells to the big box stores and does a wonderful job branding the product so that when people are choosing their plants, they see very definitively that this pot is in fact made from our cow's manure. Just a quick kind of feature of the range of responses and reactions that we've gotten over the past couple of years, from home gardeners to farms and nurseries. Our product has been pretty good at covering a lot of different types of plants and being suitable for growing mint or tomatoes or dahlias, and we've gotten some really great reviews. So with respect to kind of looking ahead and what we see as opportunities in the future, we continue to get lots of requests from all over the world for different styles and shapes. This is our most recent product that we developed last fall. This is our 11 square tall. And so we want to be able to continue to meet new demands by our customers. There's definitely interest in being able to utilize our products more at the large scale big box store level, which does in fact require barcoding our product in some way. So we've investigated doing a shrink band or label on the outside of our pot to be able to comply with the needs for those large stores. And very timely and exciting to share with you is that we just this week participated in Pack Expo, a packaging trade show in Las Vegas, to introduce for the very first time our product as packaging material. So we have designed a range of prototyped packaging corners using the same processes we use to make our plantable pots, and offering the packaging industry a truly biodegradable and plantable alternative. This is just a video that won't play very well here on this webinar, but I encourage you to go onto our website, CowPots.com, and watch this 50-second video that gives you a little intro to this new product that we've developed here on our farm. So looking ahead, we've only reached the tip of the iceberg on the ability to use products like ours in the commercial marketplace for bedding plants. So I discovered that there's 2.8 billion bedding plants sold annually. There's so much opportunity for this business to be able to further expand in that marketplace and offer a truly biodegradable non-plastic option. There is an exceptional amount of plastic waste in the green industry, which is almost counterintuitive. But the horticultural industry puts a lot of dependence and reliance on plastic products. And there's 400 million tons of plastic produced each year. Our product can be part of the solution to reducing that. And when it comes to being able to offer an alternative to packaging, 29% of the municipal solid waste is in fact containers and packaging. So this is a real solution for reducing the amount of material entering our landfills. And lastly, we have gotten inquiries from all over the world: South Africa, the Ivory Coast, Australia, just to name 3 this week, with respect to there being real interest in being able to invest in this kind of technology elsewhere and put it on the back end of a dairy farm somewhere else in the world, because there is a true need and demand for alternatives to plastic and other non-renewable resources. So we are very excited about the future and being able to offer this this process in other places once we've really truly proven the market. So I leave you with a picture of a delicate little basil growing in our 4-inch pot and reminding you that change really does start with a single pot. And I thank you for your time.
Awesome. And thanks for walking us through that, Amanda. Really interesting stuff that you guys are working on. Such a simple sounding innovation that can have such a far-reaching impact. Really, really cool. So I got a couple questions here for you. I guess we can start with, could you talk a little bit more about CowPots' impact on the growth rates and plant health in terms of getting the plant off to an early, healthy start? And then do we see any yield improvements down the line after the fact?
Yeah, so we've done some different studies with Yukon and with, as I featured below or earlier on, the Mississippi Ag Forestry Experiment Station and Cornell University. And so when we first started, one of the most exciting trials demonstrated that there was, in fact, a 10% increase in yield using the CowPots. And so, but there are absolutely kind of factors that are brought into that. So one of the most important things that I need to remind new growers that are using our product is how to manage watering. So this is different than plastic. And so the pot walls are porous. And so they're really just an extension of the growing medium. So it's really important that growers understand to be able to reach that target of having an increased yield and germination rate is that you've got to monitor your watering and actively manage it. So we continue to look for opportunities to work with different universities and folks that are doing studies on plant health and performance. But most of our focus has been on the rate of decomposition and how we compare it to the alternatives out there. But yeah, so it's been an exciting opportunity to kind of watch how plants are responding to being grown in a product made from manure. But I always do make a point of pointing out that this product, while it is manure based and there is in fact nitrogen in it, it is not the sole fertilizer. So the product still needs to be fertilized as you normally would. The value of that nitrogen is that when you plant it in the ground, that's what kickstarts the composting process, and that's why it breaks down faster than the competition.
Gotcha. And are there certain types of plants that CowPots are best suited for?
We definitely find ourselves working a lot more with people who are growing annuals. As a biodegradable product, it is suited best for one season of growing. There is some opportunity to better work with nurseries and folks that are growing perennials, but oftentimes they demand a pot that's going to have a longer shelf life. So here in our own commercial greenhouse, we grow all of our vegetables, especially stuff that's going to be quick germinating like cucurbits, cold season crops, as well as herbs and bedding annuals. I just earlier this week got a phone call from a hemp grower that was ecstatic about the fact that his hemp had such great root penetration. He got perfect air pruning, and when he planted his product in the field early June, there was no delay. It didn't take the plants a couple of days to adjust. So I think that there's going to be a very real opportunity for our product with hemp production going ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, especially because it's a very quickly growing industry. Cool. And then my last question here is, how do these pots hold up in severe weather conditions? Let's say it's a torrential downpour. Will it start to decompose early in those situations, or can it, relatively withstand some of those weather conditions?
Sure. So our guidance on the shelf life of a CowPot is based on greenhouse growing conditions, where you are able to manage how much water the plants get. So we do, of course, work with growers that do not have greenhouse structures, and they are it's an outdoor space, and so it's not like the pot just suddenly disintegrates, but it certainly becomes weaker if it's not allowed to dry up in between watering. So that shell, that pot, needs to be able to harden to kind of stop the decomposition. So a torrential downpour is certainly not going to destroy the pot, but it is going to potentially reduce the suggested shelf life of how long it can sustain growing a plant before it needs to be transplanted.
Cool, that makes sense. And then lastly, so this webinar is going to be broadcast out to many different individuals. What can the audience help you out with? How can they find you if they're interested in learning more?
That's an awesome question. I appreciate that question. So our website is www.cowpots.com, and whether you start your own seeds and you go to your local hardware store and ask for CowPots if they don't have them on the shelf, or if you only buy, seedlings that are already started for your garden, when you go to the nursery or the hardware store or the big box store, start asking for your plants to be grown in biodegradable options. Plastic is easy and it's cheap, but it is not sustainable. And if we're going to start making individual changes to our how we consume products, then it needs to start with something as simple as the pot that your plant is growing in. So I would suggest that when you're buying your gardening and planting materials, know that there are biodegradable options and seek them out, especially CowPots.
Nice, thank you. Well, just want to thank you again, Amanda, for joining us today, and thank you to everyone else who's listening to this call on replay for participating in the webinar. If you'd like to learn more about CowPots, please check out the website or shoot over an email to Amanda directly. We host these webinar calls every week at 3 p.m. Central. You can register for Agrifood Conversations by going to agrifoodconversations.com. A replay of this webinar will be emailed to you in the next 24 hours. If you know of others that may want to see this webinar on replay, they will be able to access it on agrifoodconversations.com within 24 hours. Thanks again to everyone.
Thank you.